Perfect. So hi everyone, welcome to the California Coastal Resilience Network webinar series. My name is Kellen Warner and I am the facilitator of the Coastal Resilience Network as well as the project manager at the California Coastal Conservancy. The California Coastal Resilience Network promotes knowledge exchange through webinars on climate-induced impacts on human communities and coastal habitats. If you'd like to join or watch past webinars, including today's on our website, I will include those links in a follow-up email that you will receive after today's webinar. So let's get to it. So first we'll have the presentation followed by a Q&A session. During the presentation, please feel free to submit questions using the Q&A box at the bottom right-hand side of the Zoom screen. And as I mentioned, the webinar is being recorded and will be available for review after today's webinar as well. So I'm going to pass it over to Melissa La Alvarado, one of the authors of Sharing the Coast. Thanks, Melissa.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to all of you to join today's presentation. So my name is Melissa L. Alvarado. I'm the Binational Climate Extension Fellow with California Sea Grant and the Climate Science Alliance. So this, what I'm presenting you today is the final product of a 2-year fellowship with these two great organizations. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you see it? Can you see my presentation? Can someone say okay?
Oh, yes? Yep, sorry. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this has been a largely bilingual work. So that's what I'm sharing, both the English and Spanish title of the project. So we call it Sharing the Coast: Opportunities and Strategies for Accelerating Coastal Resilience in the San Diego, Baja California region. And first, I would like to start by saying that both our regions or whole region, California, Baja California, are deeply connected from the diverse array of ecoregions from forests, deserts, and the California current systems to people who commute daily for work, education, or family ties. And also, our bioregion has been protected and stewarded since time immemorial by the Kumeyaay and the Quiliehue people who today still protecting this land. So I would like to acknowledge that before I continue. So with this shared vision of one region and one coast, this project was created with the goal of understand the current state of coastal science of the region and the priorities among our communities. To do this, we first did an assessment about knowledge needs and gaps in the region. And with this, we seek to promote knowledge sharing, build partnership, and offer training and empower coastal communities. And to do this, we did a different series of methods that are not quite scientific methods, but were a diverse type of methods. So we did, first of all, I did a directory of coastal resilience efforts from organizations, individuals, stakeholders, philanthropists working with coastal resilience in the region. I also did one-on-one interview with incredible persons that gave their opinions to this project. We also did an online survey, and of course, a big component where we gather opinions from the community members was through the binational and the tribal working group by the Climate Science Alliance. So one of those was the Indigenous Coastal Gathering that I will talk about more in the next couple of slides. We also did a binational convening in Ensenada, Baja California, where people from both sides of the border had the opportunity to present posters for coastal resilience efforts in both sides of the border. We did a roundtable during the Ocean Observing in California conference. We did a bilingual webinar. So we did a different series of gathering meetings with the effort with having like both people from Baja California and San Diego, and try to overcome the language barriers, bring in translators and other bilingual materials. So with all of the information that we gather from all of the different methods, we come up with the first product of this fellowship that was needs assessment. You can scan the QR code in the slide if you would like to read the whole report. So through this report, we mainly wanted to see what was the alignment related to coastal resilience in the region. So where the priorities among the different research groups and among some of the community members. So just to give you an overview of that, one of the most common themes that people are working that are currently working, and there is a lot of ongoing collaboration, is in coastal habitat resilience and adaptation, trying to implement more nature-based solutions. There is a big network of people of bird lovers, people that is currently monitoring shorebirds in different wetlands and habitats, and they have a great collaboration in Southern California and Baja California, and they are currently working on that. And there are also another groups that are working, trying to see changes in our coastlines and how to prevent and predict coastal hazards. And also we have marine ecosystem monitoring and restoration. And of course, a big component of the alignment between different groups was this, it's getting more important, the community engagement and education into the academic assets and research. Well, and after seeing this alignment in research, then we put together all of these, we transform all of this information in a series of binational recommendations that can foster collaborations and by integrating science, academic research, traditional ecological knowledge into strategies that are actionable, and in other words, that can be easily done, that takes these strategies or recommendations take into account the challenges that both regions has. So these are intended to be easy wins without a lot of funding. So it can be applied in both sides of the border. And also by developing this strategic vision, we would like to encourage people to see the cross-border region as one connected system, as we share the same habitats. And with this, advance the efforts that expand our research capabilities, data collection, knowledge sharing, collaboration, and community engagement. So the strategic plan was divided in 4 main strategic goals. The first 2 are more academic research-based, and the second portion of those are more directed to communities. The numbers of the strategic goals, that doesn't mean it has a priority against other, but I will rather see this as a cycle. All of the strategic goals are related to one another. That being said, I would like to start talking to you a little bit about the first strategic goal, that is about developing a regional baseline for coastal resilient data. I won't read each of the objectives, but in general, this strategic goal is about prioritizing academic research and leveraging technological advancements, and specifically how we can better gather critical data to understand changes in coastal habitat, monitor responses to coastal hazards, and evaluate how adaptation solutions are working. So I'm putting this, this is an example, these images of what I'm trying to say. So the California Dune Science Network is currently working in reconstructing the historical coastal dunes of the California coastline. So it's very important to have this baseline and how we compare the past and the present, and to come up with better predictions. But also, it's not only about gathered data, but what type of data we are gathering. So these strategic goals is focus a lot on and come up with common methodologies and share those methodologies, and 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 putting this data publicly available for others to use, so we can compare this data in the whole region more easily. And then we can compare this baseline with future predictions or integrate this information into other models or different areas where people that are working with ecological assets or coastal processes. It can be very useful to have a common hub or place where we can find this type of data. And also, it's a big component is to expand this science dissemination and communication, because there is a lot of data repositories, but not all people is aware of which type of data or how they can use it. So we think that this is an easy win, and it's how we can better use this data. For example, during this project, something that we did was that we had a Baja Dune research session with the California Dune Science Network, where some coastal processes researchers and ecologists from Baja California presented their work with to the network, and now they are currently like or they were in talks in trying to share data and come up with collaboration. So I think that there is a lot of information out there. We just need to have more of these uh, common working groups that can come up with more ideas on how to use this type of data in common. And the second strategic goal, it's about building a cross-border workforce, because who is going to gather this data? Who is performing this methodology? Well, we need a skilled workforce. So to build workforce and capacity through targeted education, a specific curricula for coastal resilience, training, mentoring, and internships, um, that can develop this skilled workforce. It's essential to have this type of data and information. And this is a lot about, and there is a lot of current programs focused on coastal resilience research, but this is more about how we can leverage these specific programs and hands-on activities and internships that not only for students, but with people that is working with NGOs and other nonprofits, that can also have this kind of exchange visit and learn how is nature-based solutions projects are working in other areas, and also to try to reinforce this type of trainings that are directly connected to the industry needs, because specifically talking to Baja California, the communities, the livelihoods of the communities are deeply connected to the marine resources. So it's very important to try to highlight or to promote this type of trainings that can help both the students and people in industries and nonprofits that can connect different efforts. For example, the kelp forest restoration is a common is a common concern along the region. So we can leverage the different types of restoration efforts and monitoring recently, one of the funded projects for the Binational Resilience Initiative from RIPCHEC and UABC, they were doing the training for kelp forest monitoring. California has been monitoring their coast since decades ago. So now if we have this type of training, we can compare this data. So this is the type of things that we should be supporting to come up with better solutions and build capacity among the community members. And well, the two other strategic goals from where I learned a lot, and surprisingly, a lot of scientists were interested in incorporate more the community. So the strategic goal 3, it's about because we know that communities are linked to the health of the marine ecosystems. Uh, so we must enhance community resilience through active public participation, education in environmental monitoring, but also uh, train the trainer, trying to come up and create more materials for K-12 educators, and trying to help them to build more stories to connect the people to these challenges, not in a negative or pessimistic way, but trying to teach community members how to monitor, why it's important to monitor biodiversity or water quality, so they can have a sense of belonging of their site. So we can in the future we will have more prepared citizens, or more they will have this sense of engagement with their environments. And also because there is no easy task to gather all of this data along all of our coast. So it's their participation is crucial to build these repositories, to make them more rich in information, but also try to connect them in genuine ways. And for me, something that I've been noticing during this project is that for mid and long-term projects, it's more important to have this community-led component, have the own concerns of the community, and help them build capacity and support their own decisions, support the community decisions to how they would like to restore, which sites are important to them. Because coastal resilience is also about preserving cultural heritage and our cultural ties and connections to the coast. And the first strategic goal about support meaningful engagement is highly related to the strategic goal number 3. But the strategic goal for meaningful engagement is more focused on indigenous communities and other marginalized groups. And I feel this is highly important when we talk about resilience. I feel resilience sounds like a very modern concept, but we need to seek and learn from the traditional ecological knowledge and people who has been applying this way of life since time immemorial. So I think that creating genuine relationship with these communities and supporting community-led decisions and facilitating the stewardship of these ancestral lands is these are critical steps in for coastal resilience. And also enhancing access and participation of other marginalized groups, make them part of the leadership in coastal management, and just to incorporate this historical vision of coastal communities, coastal and indigenous communities to monitoring efforts or what are we seeking to see in the future for our coastlines. So I would like just to share a bit of what we did with the Climate Change Alliance, the Tribal Working Group, and TPEJUA, which is a binational nonprofit that works with indigenous youth from both sides of the border. I would like to give you the message that the coast sometimes not necessarily starts with the coast. So to build a meaningful and genuine relationship with communities, we need to learn, we need to inform ourselves in the historical facts of that these communities has been facing. And just talking about the Baja California indigenous tribes, they have been highly marginalized to the mountains. People don't even like to eat seafood anymore, or sometimes they feel they are very afraid of the ocean. Um, so we first, our first approach talking about coastal resilience, I was like, I don't want to talk to people about climate change or sea level rise. So we did this tribal coastal gathering last year where we just talked about what what is your connection with the ocean? What would you like to see more? And don't try to push people to integrate into ocean related projects. It's just about listen and try to promote and support their own decisions. So also, I had the great opportunity to be at a youth camp in Sierra Juarez. The kids were very happy, and we were just building this relationship that later on, I hopefully we can transfer to the ocean. But this is highly important, just to listen people and try to um, to build an organic way to later on have this collaboration or this common sense of protection in our coastal lands. And also, I just wanted to share that with the Climate Science Alliance, we did this beautiful event at Kendall Cross where we put signs of the native plants in Spanish, Kumeyaay, and English version of the native plants. And this is the type of things about building genuine relationships, also to give acknowledgement and in these coastal spaces to reclaim and support these people to to bring the importance of these lands to their cultural and important sacred spaces. Uh, well, I would like to finish by saying that there is a lot of differences, big and complex differences among uh, these these two nations. We have big contrasts in governance, lifestyle, and management approaches, but these coastlines present both unique challenges, opportunities for collaboration. And even though we do have a physical borderline that delineate our nations, it doesn't mean uh, that we don't have a shared responsibility to protect our coastline. So we need to more we need to work more collaboratively to overcome these challenges. And I think that by learning from each other and leveraging our diverse experiences and fostering binational cooperation, we can transform these challenges into opportunities for innovation and thus adaptation. Um, so here is the QR code to the full report. Um, I can also share with you the link to both the English and the Spanish version of this report, and I will take any question that would like to ask. Thank you all for listening.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa. Amazing resource. Yeah, so please, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat or in the Q&A box, wherever you put them, we can find them. Um, what's been the response so far, Melissa? I know this just came out recently. It seems like folks are really excited. Are people ready to implement some of the strategies that you put forth in this report?
Yeah, well, actually, for California Sea Grant, it's starting a series of programs, let's say, or projects that are planning to include more the community engagement component. So this is a tiny part of it. And yeah, something that I've been finding out among people, it's that uh, it seems obvious, the meaningful engagement or the part of the connection with the communities. It seems obvious, but it's not. It's not. It's like there's a lot of people out there like submitting proposals, and at the end, it won't continue. Some projects won't continue because the community component was like just in a short term, just for the project. So I think we are realizing more often that we actually need to build this genuine relationship with people. So that can assure you that your project might be more successful because the community by itself might seek for resources or build capacity and come up with solutions for their own piece of land or coast. So yeah, that's something interesting because I started thinking more methodologically or more like scientific or academically, but it turns out to be that the community component was highly important, uh, talking about coastal resilience.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited for that to become more, like you're saying, incorporated more and more than just in when you're looking for money in the project in the long term, not just for grant proposals. And we have a question from the chat. I'm curious if community members have been able to participate in the dune monitoring and what that looks like.
Well, I'm not the one conducting this project, but yeah, one of the research assistants at California Sea Grant, uh, she's trying to get the community involved where they help with the not the sea level rise, but the sand levels. So it's something very easy to do. It's like a stick, and you have like lines, and you align that with the horizon, and it's very fun to do when it's not foggy. That's what I've heard. And yeah, that's great. There's actually there is a web page that I can share with you also, uh, where people like beachgoers can join and they can upload their data. So it's awesome. That's a tiny part of it. Some other data that is used for sea level rise is like more like technical, but that is like an easy and funny part that people can get involved. Yeah. Um, yeah, I can share that link with you.
Yeah, awesome. Any other questions? We can wait to see if any more come in for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I went really fast, but you all can go to the report and see the each each of the objectives has its own particular and very specific recommendation. I was just trying to portray everything into an example. But if any of you are interested in more in-depth details about each objective, you can scan the QR code and read it.
And we got another question in. Can you provide some examples of skills that workforce trainings can include?
Well, the first one that comes to my mind is the uh, I think monitoring is one of the most common ones, and not only for it's for a different type of habitats. Like some training can be done among, for example, fisheries communities. Uh, there is currently a lot of efforts to teach the fishermen how to install and download data from sensors, and it's getting more common to them. to know how to use this data. Even like for them, it's been like, oh, I can relate this with different seasons or different catches. So that's one training that it might be, it might sound also easy, but for example, I don't know how to do it, and it can be, I can be trained and I can train others, and that's a very useful data. And some other training can be something that we've noticed is that we do have data, but for example, in Baja California, there is not enough equipment to process that data. So another type of training is in machine learning or using artificial intelligence to try to process that data. This is a type of training very specific for students, uh, but we think this is something that is low cost. That might be like they can do a training for a couple of weeks in some university or at Scripps or this type of research center. And they don't necessarily need to come up with an equipment or so that's the type of training that we think it's an easy win because it's an easy transferable knowledge.
Awesome. And then what kind of data do you think community members would be interested in collecting and for what purpose related to the coastline?
Well, I think one of the most popular ones is uh, biodiversity with iNaturalist is one of the most popular ones. For a couple of years, the Natural History Museum of San Diego has been hosting the Border BioBlitz. So now every year there's more high school students joining this type of initiatives. So they go near the borderline and they register everything they see. I had the opportunity to be with students from Cebetis, from Tijuana, and they were very excited about like registering. So I think sometimes it's how you share this with students or it depends on the public, but what I like to say to some of them is like you are like capturing Pokemon. It's like you gotta capture them all, and so you are like taking pictures, and this is actually useful for scientific research. This is being used for peer reviewed papers, so some experts will review your entries and they will see they will tell you, oh, you got it right or wrong, and that's actually feeding these databases. For example, about the coastline, we're seeing like increasingly we have more species that we didn't have in the past with the tropicalization, the so-called tropicalization of the species. So that helped us to track these changes in fauna or seaweed that we haven't seen in a couple of years that now they're moving northward because of the marine heat waves. So that might be something really easy that the community members or even, for example, sports divers, they can also upload their uh, uh, observations and that help those databases. So I think that's very easy to use and it's really helpful. Another activity that is very used that's it's really easy to use is the cold snap where you register, you just only put your phone and this is done, and people have the opportunity to capture changes in the coastline, and then like local scientists will gather this data and they will actually develop models and how the coastline is moving. So I just think that we need to teach the community what are these things for, like not just to go to the beach and see this stand like, oh, yeah, a funny thing. But if we teach them what is actually being used for, they might be get more excited about using it. So we have more data, and with more data, we have better predictions and better observations.
Awesome. Those are two cool examples too. And I'm sure new things are going to come up too that we can use.
Yeah.
How does the data repository work?
Well, I'm not the one doing it. We don't have enough money and time to do it, but well, there is some current efforts for other types of data. Like for example, the San Diego Regional Climate Collaborative, they have a live database about coastal resilience efforts, but this is only for the San Diego region. So that one you can get in touch with them and you can be added to that list. And they have the status of ongoing, implemented. Um, yeah, I think that what I'm saying is that we might have some sort of this type of database, but for different type of data, maybe like something that can do ready, not exactly all the data in one place, but one repository to have links to direct you to other data repositories, but in a way that is more friendly for any type of user, where you have like tags for, I don't know, people working with birds or ecologists. So we envision it something like that, but we are not the ones developing this data hubs yet. Well, hopefully someone is listening to this and and they'll do it.
Great. And we have another question. Thanks for the talk. It starts with about the regional baseline for coastal resilience data and dune monitoring. Who is working on it on the Baja side, and what terrestrial data is used? Land use, population, etc.
Yeah. Well, I skipped that part. What I actually wanted to say about that is that the California Sea Grant, and in collaboration with other organizations and the California Science Dune Network, they're doing this incredible work in reconstructing the historical coastal dunes. But what I wanted to say is that there is an existing material about an inventory of coastal dunes in Mexico, but it's not yet completed. So I think that it started in talks, but that's what we're seeking. Like this reconstruction is going to be publicly available for the California coastline, but hopefully in the future we can have that like continue down to Baja. But yeah, it's the information that I can give you right now. But it exists as an inventory for Mexico, but it's not um, linked to the one that I showed today.
Hopefully soon.
Yes.
And then is there terrestrial data included in the Dune database? Or is it?
Mm, I don't know, but I can share to all of you this material. I mean, I'm not an expert for coastal dunes, but I do work closely with them, and I felt like this was an incredible example to share. But I will very happy to share all of the resources and the contacts for you to the contact of the person that can give you more information.
Angelica says that the bioregional center is always interested in data repository related things.
I know everybody does.
Great.
Mm.
And then the border project is also working on some maps in Baja, it looks like as well. Amazing.
Yeah, there are also people working with the Tijuana River Estuary watershed. So there is a lot of ongoing efforts focusing in this particular area because Imperial Beach is having a lot of troubles with pollution and contamination due to discharges of the Tijuana River. So there is a lot of awesome binational working groups working with this. I did not include that, but there is included in both the reports a little bit of that. And yeah, I think they are doing an awesome job, like mapping that area.
Fantastic. Well, it looks like questions are have slowed down. So if you have any more questions, y'all, in the reply email, if Melissa's okay with it, I can include her email address if more
Yeah,
questions come up.
absolutely.
Great. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining. Like I mentioned, you'll receive an email from me with a link to this recording and some more information. A big thank you again to Melissa for this presentation and for taking all this time to answer questions. This is such amazing work, and I'm really excited to see what comes of people using your report. I think it's going to be really exciting for this region and to see how other regions follow in the footsteps. So
Thank
have
you,
a great
Karen.
rest of your week,
Th-
everybody. Thank
Thank
you.
you
Bye.
all. Bye.